Alright, so what are we working on today? I've been hearing a lot of clunking sounds coming from the rear, one of my rear coilovers. A couple weeks ago I took the wheel off, inspected everything. Everything seemed to be nice and tight, but it's still making this ridiculous sound every time I hit a bump or go in and out of a driveway. So I'm going to take it completely off this time. Already pulled everything out inside, so I have easy access to the bolts and everything. So we're gonna go ahead and pull it off, inspect everything, and see if we could figure out what the sound is and see if we could fix it. Alright, we got the wheel off, so let me show you the sound this thing is making. Yeah, so it just keeps popping in and out, so let's go ahead and take it off and see if we could figure this out. Alright, so I found the spot where it's shifting here. See if you could see it in the video. So you can see right up here against the top hat is where it keeps shifting. And that's where the clicking sound is coming from. So I already measured everything, so I can put it back where it is. So let's go ahead and take it apart and see if there's anything we could do about this. Alright, so after inspecting everything, I didn't notice anything loose. The top hat is tight. The only thing I noticed was up here, there's a little bit of play. This plastic piece that you see here, it doesn't fill the gaps like it should. So that's where there's a little bit of play and it's making that noise. So my idea is to just put some electrical tape, maybe a couple rounds around the lip here, just to make it a tighter fit so it's not able to have that back and forth movement. So I'm gonna go ahead and try that, put it back together, and hopefully that works and I don't get no more sound. I know it's kind of ghetto, but I guess I should have spent more money on some better coilovers. I mean, for the most part, these BC Racing coilovers aren't bad. They do the job, but I mean, little things like this ruin the whole thing. So yeah, hopefully this works. We'll see. Alright, wrapped it a couple times and made it to where it's a tight fit. And I mean, with all the tape, I don't expect it to move back and forth to rip the tape, so hopefully it holds up and stays good. So let's go ahead and put it back on, and hopefully, again, like I said, hopefully it solves the problem. course, nothing can ever go right. Fucking slipped and stabbed myself with the fucking caliper tool. Now let's check it, make sure this is our height adjustment here. So we're right where we want to be. Alright, so our height should be the same as when we took it off. So now we just need to set the preload. I'm probably going to do that while it's on the car. So as long as we got our height set, we're good to go to put it back on. Okay, now that I got my ride height set pretty much how I want, I can go ahead and make sure both coilovers are exactly the same as far as preload and height. So like I just showed you, we went ahead and measured from the top hat to the bottom here, to the bottom nut. Okay, so we got that measurement, so we need to make sure the other side is the same. And then when we set the preload, we're going to measure from this nut here to the bottom locking nut for the top here. So that's going to give us the exact same setup on both sides. So I just thought I'd take a second to explain how I set the preload and how I make sure everything is the same on all the coilovers. Alright, now we got everything bolted up. Now the last thing is to torque everything down. So the sway bar link to 14 millimeter, and that should be at 27 foot-pounds. Alright, that's good. Okay, and the shock, that's an 18 millimeter bolt, and that's going to be 59 foot-pounds. Looks like we're already there. And the hub assembly is 17 millimeters, and that's also 59 foot-pounds. Alright, now everything's torqued up, so we'll go ahead and set the preload. Now when setting the preload, the general rule of thumb is to tighten it by hand as much as you can first. Alright, now that we got it hand tightened as much as we can go ahead and spin the bottom nut till it touches the top nut. And now we're gonna turn the top until the spanner wrench fits in between the two. And make sure to try to keep the bottom nut from moving if you can. Alright, there we go. Now the spanner wrench fits perfectly in between, so we'll go ahead and tighten up the bottom nut and tighten everything down. Alright, so now that everything's lined up, we can go ahead and take our measurement again with the caliper tool, and we'll be using the bottom nut and the top lower nut here, and we're just going to measure the space in between, and we're going to take note of that measurement so we can match it on the other side. Alright, now we got everything back together. Before I put the wheel on, I was tugging on the spring and it kind of still was making the sound a little bit, but I was able to rotate it a little bit into a position where it was a little more snug and it wasn't making the sound. So hopefully this is going to fix the problem. I'm going to drive around before I even bother messing with the other side just to see what's going on. And if it doesn't fix it, looks like we're going to have to take it apart again and figure something else out. But yeah, don't buy BC Racing coilovers because in my opinion they're pretty much trash. Good set of coilovers shouldn't be making any noise or doing anything funky like that. So let's go ahead and take it for a drive and see how it worked out. Alright, so it's nighttime now. I had a chance to drive the car, test it out, see if my fix worked, and it did reduce it quite a bit, but it's still making some noise, so looks like it was a failure. So back to the drawing board. My next day off from work, I'm probably gonna take it off and try again. But as far as the BC Racing coilovers, I don't recommend them to anyone. Spend a little more money and get something better. There's a lot of better ones out there for just $500-600 more, so don't go cheap on it. And yeah, we'll see what's up next time. Thanks for watching the video. Peace.